Hello, I'm Sue Butcher and I'm here with another in our series of videos about collaborative working and the small things we can do to help it happen. This time we're going to talk about mistakes. When I was working in an architectural practice many years ago, a young man working on one of our sites fell from a scaffold and he suffered life-changing head injuries. It really brought home to me how important health and safety is in our industry, and it also made me realise why the industry is so concerned with risk. Perhaps you've experienced a similar situation in your work where all those procedural things finally actually mean something important. Our industry is, of course, quite risk averse, and it's not surprising. Although we've reduced the number of fatal accidents by at least 2/3 in the last 40 years, it still remains a risky industry to work in. We can't eliminate all risks, but we can manage them. And it's important that we make sure that we don't allow our aversion to risk to prevent innovation, which might actually make the industry safer and more efficient. This video is about the fear of making mistakes, the fear that if we do, people will find us out. And we don't want to be found out because it will make us look inadequate. It's a powerful attitude because it can prevent us from owning up to our mistakes and therefore prevent us from learning from them. And if we don't learn from our mistakes, we may go on and make even more costly ones. When we're looking to implement BIM, we'll be working more closely with other professionals and we may want to avoid showing up any lack of knowledge that we have. But the thing is, if we really want to implement collaborative working, we actually have to measure our successes, which means admitting to our mistakes and owning up to them. The new 2013 RIBA Plan of Work has an 8th stage called In Use, which makes the connection between the construction project and the built asset. In fact, the Plan of Work is now described as a circle, an ongoing circle, which makes the point about the evaluation of the project leading on to better projects in the future. That means we have to learn from our mistakes. We often hear about large corporations screwing up on social media. In fact, it's one reason why construction companies often don't want to get involved in it whatsoever. Do you remember back in 2009, the Eurostar trains had a problem with the wrong kind of snow and a train broke down in the tunnel just before Christmas? The mistake Eurotunnel made was not that the trains broke down, but what they did about it afterwards. They had hundreds of irate passengers trapped under the Channel Tunnel, using the train's own Wi-Fi to tweet complaints to a Eurostar Twitter account, which was still spewing out pre-scheduled tweets about away days during the Christmas period. They weren't listening. The mistake they made was they weren't listening, and when they did hear, they didn't do the right things to deal with it quickly. The fact is that everyone makes mistakes. We're all learning. These are new techniques, new technologies, new processes. Even the people who are described as experts are still learning them. We're all just practicing, and the more we practice, the better we'll become. A good example of this is blogging. People who start a personal blog soon realise that one of the best things they can do is write about their mistakes and what they've learned from them. Because by writing about them, they learn more about them. And of course, other people can learn too. Instead of it making you look stupid and foolish, you actually look more intelligent and more useful. Mistakes are good because mistakes mean learning. About 3 years ago, I had the privilege of listening to a squadron leader from the Red Arrows talk about how he works to a group of 50-something construction managers in a big conference hall. And it was fascinating because he described that after every sortie, they'd have a debrief. And the first thing that happened in the debrief was that he, as squadron leader, would describe everything that he did wrong during the sortie. Now, this gave everyone else who worked for him, no matter how junior, the space and freedom to admit their own mistakes and therefore learn from them too. And if the Red Arrows can do it, why can't we? So next time you hear yourself thinking, but people will find out about my mistake, instead ask yourself, how can I learn more about this? Who can I talk to about this? And how can I help other people to learn from my mistake? Well, we hope you enjoyed this video about mistakes, and if you did, why not click on the subscribe note? So we hope you enjoyed. Oh dear. So I'm just giving you lots of bloopers now. So we hope you enjoyed these. I can't do it. We hope you enjoyed this video about mistakes, and if you did, why not subscribe to the B1M to get the next video? Is that all right? That makes sense?
Really good, yeah.
Okay.